OMG, your soulmate almost called you today. This is not random. The moment this reached you, something already shifted beneath the surface, and you can feel it even if you pretend not to. There is a quiet pressure in the chest, a pause in the breath, a recognition without language. You were not meant to scroll past this, and you know that awareness does not arrive without reason. Don't skip. This carries authority because silence carried you here, and silence is where power rearranges itself. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. They felt it earlier than you did, not as clarity, but as disturbance, a sudden restlessness that made everything feel slightly out of alignment. They reached for distraction and found none that worked. They hovered near a decision without understanding why the urge was so strong. Control slipped in small, humiliating ways, not loud enough to name, but heavy enough to notice. They told themselves it was nothing, then felt the weight return again, and again. Awareness does not ask permission. When it enters, it simply settles and waits, and right now it is waiting between you and they. You have been silent longer than anyone realized, not absent, not lost, just observing. Patience reshaped perception while no one was watching. Restraint became discipline, and discipline became authority without announcement. They assumed the stillness meant stagnation. That assumption is now collapsing, because stillness is where recalibration happens. They underestimated the depth of distance forming quietly. Distance that did not need words, distance that did not ask to be understood, and now the realization presses against them in waves they cannot steady. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. They are shaken because the familiar signals disappeared, the predictable reactions stopped arriving, the emotional access once assumed no longer opens, and nothing unsettles control like silence that refuses to explain itself. They replay moments searching for a missed signal, reread exchanges looking for a clue, question tone, timing, pauses, and each replay creates more confusion, not answers. Awareness sharpens when certainty dissolves, and right now certainty is dissolving rapidly for they. You did not announce growth, you did not seek validation, you did not ask to be seen. Awareness matured quietly, aligning priorities without permission. Control shifted because you stopped reaching, because you stopped correcting, because you stopped performing. Silence became the boundary, and boundaries become authority when maintained without force. They feel this even without words. Intimidation does not always arrive as fear. Sometimes it arrives as fascination mixed with exposure, a sense that something once accessible has moved beyond reach, and the mind scrambles when reach fails. They almost crossed a line today, not because of confidence, but because pressure demanded release. The urge to regain balance grew loud, then stalled, because instinct warned that the old approach would no longer work. Hesitation appeared where certainty used to live, and hesitation is the first crack in control. They noticed the pause, the unsent action, the held breath, and awareness flooded in behind it. Awareness that you are no longer positioned where memory expects you to be. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. This is why the pull feels heavy without explanation, why attention drifts back without invitation, why silence feels louder than words ever did. You are not doing anything. That is the point. Alignment does not chase, alignment waits, and waiting rearranges power structures quietly. They sense the distance expanding even while proximity feels tempting. That contradiction creates internal shaking, not visible, not shareable, but constant, and constancy is what wears control down. You outgrew the dynamic without breaking it, without confronting, without burning bridges. Growth does not always destroy. Sometimes growth simply rises above the range of old patterns. They are now looking up at a version of you that cannot be accessed through old methods. Awareness sharpens because options narrow. They feel drawn and unsettled at the same time. Attraction and intimidation sharing the same space. Exposure without accusation. And that is what destabilizes the most. Do not rush this awareness. It is not meant to be consumed quickly. It is meant to be felt slowly, to linger where certainty used to live, to stretch perception. You were not meant to receive this by accident. Silence prepared the ground, patience shifted the structure, and restraint sealed the authority. They feel the change even without contact, and that is why the almost happened matters more than action ever could. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. The quiet continues, and within it, the balance keeps adjusting. No resolution yet, just the pressure of awareness growing heavier, the distance holding firm, the shift settling deeper, and the silence doing exactly what it was always meant to do. They are unraveling in ways they do not yet fully understand. The internal tremor is subtle at first, like a shift in the air, a whisper of imbalance, a nudge of unease that makes the chest tighten and the mind race. They reach for reason, for control, for some anchor, but every thought circles back on itself, spinning faster and faster, until clarity feels like a stranger. Their emotions flicker unpredictably. Anger, longing, confusion, and fascination collide into a restless storm. They cannot place why the old certainties no longer hold. Every memory and every expectation now seems slightly distorted, as if viewed through a lens that exposes what they overlooked. Don't skip. They are overwhelmed not by what you have done, but by what they failed to notice. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. They replay interactions endlessly, analyzing pauses, tone, expressions. Moments they dismissed as inconsequential now flare with significance. Small silences take on weight. Words they thought harmless feel sharp. Gestures they ignored become markers of meaning they cannot decipher. The more they search, the less they understand. Obsession grows quietly, invisibly, as if their brain itself is pulling them towards something they cannot articulate. They cannot force clarity. They cannot regain the fluidity of control they once assumed was theirs. Each thought loops back into uncertainty, each memory twisted by what they feel but cannot name. The internal shaking intensifies. Bodies respond to mental agitation. Restless legs, tight shoulders, breath shallow. They try to rationalize, to dismiss, to reclaim their center. But every attempt only highlights their miscalculation. You outgrew the dynamic quietly. You moved beyond their ability to categorize, and that is why their grasp falters. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. They underestimate the quiet work of your patience. They believe absence is weakness. that stillness equates to irrelevance. Yet while they fumed, raged, doubted, and grasped for explanations, you were shifting with deliberate restraint, each decision to hold back, each moment to observe, each choice to refrain from responding became an invisible scaffolding for the authority they now sense but cannot name. They never accounted for the accumulation of silent power, for the subtle transformation that happens when one moves in awareness rather than impulse. Their confusion feeds itself, their obsession grows, and it grows not from your action, but from your inaction, which they mistakenly read as passivity, but it is not passivity, it is a quiet mastery, a patient restructuring of your presence and your boundaries. Awareness has expanded, distance has been maintained, control has quietly shifted, and they feel it. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Their internal state is unstable, they cannot track the progression, they attempt to map it, but every metric they apply fails. They are caught between familiarity and the new alignment of your being. The sense of you that existed in the past is gone, replaced by an almost imperceptible authority that radiates from calm observation rather than demand. Every attempt to regain footing is met with subtle resistance. Each recall of old interactions now feels distorted, as if the ground they thought they stood upon has been quietly removed. They feel destabilized, yet they cannot articulate the reason. Fascination mixes with intimidation, longing laces with fear, each reflection only compounds the internal tremor, and with every mental review, they recognize the depth of their underestimation. They never anticipated that silence could be so revealing, that patience could recalibrate influence so completely. They are lost in the echo of the you that exists beyond their perception. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. They feel compelled to revisit every conversation, the small jokes, the subtle inflections, the unnoticed details of tone and timing. Patterns emerge they never predicted, questions spiral endlessly. Did I miss something? Was there a warning? Could I have acted differently? Each question carries weight, each memory feels heavier than before, and yet, clarity never fully lands. Instead, the pressure grows, their mind tightens under the effort to reconstruct meaning. While they spin, you remain anchored, calm, fully aligned, observing without interference. Their self-assuredness wanes, hesitation becomes second nature, instinct falters. The oscillation between attraction and fear leaves them exposed in ways words cannot reach. This exposure is not violent, it is magnetic, subtle, undeniable, and it is all a product of your quiet evolution. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Every internal tremor they feel is magnified by the awareness they cannot escape. They sense a pull towards something they no longer fully understand. Every observation of your behavior becomes a question without an answer. They cannot predict your next action because the rules have changed. Silently, invisibly, they reach for patterns, for control, for dominance. But each effort only highlights their diminishing grip. The mind races, the heart pulses, the body tightens, all while your presence remains unshakable, unannounced, fully sovereign. They notice, they obsess, they question, yet the more they reach, the more the authority you embody solidifies in absence. You are everywhere in their awareness, yet unreachable, and the internal shaking continues. What they never saw forming was the depth of your transformation, not because it was hidden deliberately, but because it did not announce itself. Growth rarely does. It happens in the spaces between reactions, in the pauses where impulse used to live, in the restraint that feels invisible until it reshapes everything. You did not rush to be understood. You did not demand recognition. You allowed awareness to mature quietly, layering patience upon patience until discipline became instinct, and instinct became alignment. They mistook your silence for hesitation. That misjudgment now echoes loudly in their awareness. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. You learn to sit with observation without interference, to witness patterns without naming them, to feel shifts without reacting to them. This was not accidental. It was a slow recalibration of power that happened internally while nothing appeared to change externally. Restraint sharpened perception. Patience expanded authority. Every moment you chose not to respond rewired the dynamic. They were used to immediacy, to access, to emotional availability that reassured their sense of control. When that access faded without explanation, their certainty weakened. They did not realize that your silence was not withdrawal, but refinement, a narrowing of focus, a deepening of awareness. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. You stopped leaking energy into places that did not return it, not with anger, not with declaration, but with calm disengagement. Distance grew organically, standards aligned internally before they ever became visible, boundaries formed without confrontation. This is the kind of growth that unsettles observers because it offers no point of resistance, nothing to argue with, nothing to push against. They sensed the shift but could not locate its origin, and what cannot be located cannot be controlled. Awareness sharpened on your side while confusion thickened on theirs. They believed growth had to be loud. They did not account for transformation that moves in silence. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Patience became your advantage. While they reacted, you watched. While they assumed, you assessed. While they replayed old narratives, you stepped outside them entirely. This was not emotional detachment. It was emotional mastery, the ability to feel without being ruled by feeling. Silence trained this skill slowly, almost imperceptibly, and with each quiet moment, your internal authority strengthened. They felt the change only after it had already settled, after the balance had already shifted. After access was no longer automatic, and realization arrived too late to prevent it. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. You did not need to announce independence. You embodied it. Alignment reorganized priorities without external confirmation. You became selective without explanation, present without availability, calm without coldness. This confused them deeply, because they were accustomed to reactions they could predict. Now prediction fails. Awareness replaced impulse, distance replaced overexposure, restraint replaced reassurance. And these substitutions altered the structure of influence entirely. They sensed authority not through dominance, but through absence of need, and that absence unsettles those who rely on control. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. They are beginning to realize that your growth was not a response to them, and that realization is destabilizing, because if it was not about them, then they were never the center of the shift. You did not evolve to prove anything, you evolved because awareness demanded it, because silence made room for it, because patience allowed it to integrate fully rather than perform. They underestimated the power of someone who does not rush transformation, someone who lets it root deeply before it ever becomes visible. Now they face the version of you that cannot be negotiated with through old emotional currencies. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. You became comfortable not being perceived correctly, not being immediately understood, not being validated in real time. This comfort is rare, and rare things carry authority without effort. Awareness no longer bends toward approval. Alignment no longer seeks reassurance. Distance feels natural rather than defensive. They sense this internal solidity and do not know how to approach it. Fascination rises because mystery remains intact. Intimidation follows because mystery resists control. Your silence does not invite pursuit, it simply exists, and existence without demand shifts the entire dynamic. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. This transformation did not rush, it did not spike and fade, it settled, layered, stabilized. You outgrew the version of yourself they still reference in memory, and that gap between who you were and who you are now continues to widen quietly. They feel it every time they try to place you where you used to fit. Every attempt fails. Awareness sharpens because patterns no longer align. Control slips because familiarity dissolves. And you remain calm within the shift you already integrated long ago. Silence did its work thoroughly, patience sealed it, restraint protected it, and alignment now holds steady, without explanation, without announcement, without reversal. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. They keep returning to the past because the present refuses to cooperate. Memory becomes the only place where control once felt reliable, so they replay moments with obsessive precision, slowing everything down, stretching seconds into long corridors of thought. The way you paused before responding, the way your tone softened and then disappeared. The subtle shift they dismissed because it didn't fit their assumptions at the time. Now those moments glow with significance, awareness sharpens. When hindsight replaces certainty, and hindsight is all they have left. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. They question decisions they once defended without hesitation. Choices that felt justified now feel exposed. They wonder why they didn't notice the distance forming, why they mistook patience for compliance, why they assumed access was permanent. Each question lands without resolution, because answers require alignment they no longer possess. Memory becomes a mirror that reflects not just you, but their own miscalculations. And that reflection is uncomfortable. Fascination grows alongside regret, intimidation alongside longing. The contrast between who you were and who you are now destabilizes them more than conflict ever could. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. They compare versions of you without meaning to, the earlier presence that felt familiar, responsive, emotionally legible, and the current presence that feels distant, contained, quietly sovereign. The gap between those versions stretches wider each time they think about it. They search for the moment where everything changed, but there was no dramatic turning point, no confrontation, no rupture, just a slow withdrawal of energy. A recalibration they failed to perceive until it was complete. Silence does not announce endings, it simply creates new structures, and now they are standing outside one they no longer understand. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. They replay conversations and hear different meanings now. Phrases once brushed aside carry weight. Pauses feel intentional rather than accidental. Your restraint reads as awareness rather than hesitation. They recognize, too late, the discipline it took not to correct them, not to explain, not to seek reassurance. That realization unsettles them deeply, because discipline implies choice, and choice implies authority. Awareness dawns slowly, painfully. You were never waiting for permission, you were observing, and observation reshaped the dynamic without resistance. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. They feel pulled toward you even as distance remains firm. Fascination intensifies because mystery survives memory. They thought familiarity granted understanding. Now they realize familiarity only existed on the surface. Beneath it, you were evolving quietly. Patience carving space where noise once lived. Restraint protecting growth from premature exposure. The contrast disorients them. Attraction rises not from what you offer, but from what you no longer give freely. Intimidation follows. Because they sense standards they cannot negotiate, alignment they cannot disrupt, awareness that sees without engaging. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. They try to imagine how you see them now. This thought unsettles them more than their own confusion, because perception has shifted, and they feel seen without being addressed, exposed without being accused. Your silence holds up a mirror without commentary. Boundaries exist without enforcement, authority without demand. They replay moments searching for reassurance that no longer exists, and each replay reinforces the same realization. The past cannot restore access, memory cannot rebuild. Control, awareness has moved forward without them. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. They remember times when your attention felt automatic, when proximity felt secure, when emotional access reassured their position. Those memories now feel fragile, almost unreal, as if they belong to a different structure entirely. The present does not respond to those references. Your alignment no longer bends toward old dynamics. Distance remains consistent, calm, unreactive. And consistency is what unsettles them the most, because it signals permanence, not punishment, not strategy. Simply a settled state. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. They feel fascination because you did not replace connection with coldness, you replaced it with clarity, awareness without attachment, presence without pursuit, restraint without resentment. This subtlety confuses them. they expect withdrawal to look dramatic, to feel charged. Instead it feels neutral, grounded, immovable. Neutrality strips away leverage. It leaves nothing to argue with, nothing to provoke, nothing to reclaim. And that absence of leverage destabilizes deeply. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. They question whether they ever truly understood you. This thought lingers longer than they want, because it suggests the foundation was weaker than assumed. Memory begins to reorganize itself around this doubt. Scenes replay with altered emphasis. Moments once overlooked now stand out. They recognize signs of growth they dismissed, awareness they ignored, restraint they misread. The past becomes a map of missed signals. And that realization carries weight, not guilt, but exposure. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. They are caught between nostalgia and intimidation, drawn to what once felt safe, unsettled by what now feels beyond reach. The present version of you cannot be approached through memory, cannot be engaged through familiarity. Alignment has shifted the terms entirely, and they feel that shift without being able to name it. Awareness continues to press, silence continues to hold, distance continues to define the structure. No explanation offered, no invitation extended, and the replay continues. Again and again, because the mind seeks what it cannot regain. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. You stand differently now, not elevated through force, not distant through avoidance, but anchored through alignment that no longer negotiates itself. Calm has replaced urgency. Awareness has replaced reaction, and that quiet authority settles into every space without asking permission. They feel it immediately, even if they cannot articulate it. The absence of emotional leakage, the consistency of distance, the steadiness that does not fluctuate based on their attention, this is what exposes them without you ever having to confront. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Your boundaries are not spoken, they are felt, and what is felt cannot be argued with. You do not explain standards anymore because explanation invites negotiation. Instead, alignment holds the line effortlessly. You are present without availability, open without access, calm without softness that can be exploited. This unsettles them deeply, because control relies on predictability. And predictability no longer exists here. Silence has become structure, distance has become definition. Awareness has become authority. They sense it every time they attempt to gauge where they stand and find no opening. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. They feel exposed not because you dominate, but because you do not reach. The absence of pursuit strips away the roles they once relied on. There is no emotional leverage to pull, no reaction to provoke, no reassurance to extract, and in that vacuum, self-awareness rushes in uninvited. They become acutely conscious of their own positioning, their tone, their motives, their past assumptions. Exposure does not always arrive through confrontation. Sometimes it arrives through neutrality that refuses to engage, and neutrality is far more unsettling than resistance. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Your calm is not indifference, it is discernment refined through patience. You choose where energy goes now, not impulsively, not reactively, but deliberately. This choice reorganizes power without spectacle. They feel the shift because the emotional hierarchy they once relied on has dissolved. They are no longer centered in your awareness. Alignment has moved you inward, grounded, self-referenced. And that internal anchoring radiates outward as quiet authority, no announcement needed, no explanation given. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. They attempt to read you, to decode signals, to interpret silence as strategy, but the truth unsettles them. There is nothing to decode, nothing hidden, nothing withheld. What they encounter is simply clarity, clarity that does not bend, clarity that does not react, clarity that remains consistent regardless of their emotional state. This consistency intimidates because it cannot be influenced. Awareness sharpens on their side as they realize the familiar dynamics no longer apply. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Distance has become a natural extension of your alignment, not a wall, not a punishment, simply a byproduct of standards that no longer match old patterns. You do not withdraw to make a point, you remain where you are because it feels correct. This subtlety confuses them. They expect boundaries to announce themselves, to justify themselves. Instead, boundaries exist quietly, effortlessly, immovably, and the lack of explanation denies them footing. They cannot argue with silence that is settled. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you.